mental well-being. And I know, again, that's not something that has typically been a focus area for leaders, especially, leaders in India. Of course, post-COVID, it started to be talked about, but you've been doing it well before that. Again, why this focus, this emphasis on mental well-being? Where did that come from?
So I've never worked anywhere else, so I used to hear from many of my colleagues who had joined from outside, this company, there is so much culture, there is so much of bureaucracy, there is politicking, there is backbiting, there is gossiping. So I was like puzzled. I said, why? And then half the time they would waste in doing all this nonsensical kind of thing just to... And I said, I don't want to have this kind of culture in the organization. I don't want all these pressures to come in. Because a lot of workplace pressure, a lot of workplace mental health issues can be tackled if you have the right culture.
But how did you make it a two-way street? Because very often leaders expressing their own vulnerabilities is not something that we see.
I know that, but I realized that when I expressed my vulnerability, I was able to get very close to my team, because they said, oh no, you've never heard any leaders talking openly about their set of issues.
So, what kind of issues would you talk about, or do you talk about?
So, I can give one example. Our business got separated. I bought over stakes from two of my uncles. And we arrived at an agreement, and it was... The last step was, the agreement specified who will take over what business and what asset. And then Marico formed the larger percentage of the group assets. So I decided that me and one of my uncles was backing me, that we'll take over Marico. But the last step was the valuation. Because in many businesses, what happens is, they start with valuation first, and that leads to a lot of differences. So last step in our case was valuation. And all my shares were put in escrow with the lawyers. And I and my team had arrived at certain valuation based on our own internal, and valuation was double than what we expected. So all of a sudden, my debt burden really went up. And I was so upset that, I built this company and will I lose this company? So I went through my emotional pressures with my team at that time. I remember we had gone to an off-site, where again we do use off-sites to improve our relationships and bring in openness. And I broke down in front of them. And I think that plays a very important role in terms of they feeling very bonded with me, So that just reinforced me that, okay, you can be vulnerable.